Joining us now is Tim Williams, a private investigator and use of force expert with more than 29 years of experience working for the LA Police Department. Sir, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, you've had a chance to watch the Tyre Nichols video. What is your preliminary reaction to what you just saw?
Well, my preliminary reaction to what I saw is that these 5 officers used extremely excessive force that was not necessary. What I saw out there were individuals that were coming to the side. They had to rest for a moment, and then they get back in. Saw one officer pull out his monadnock, it's a baton, a collapsible baton, ratchet it open, and just start beating on the decedent, on Tyre. Then I saw another officer kicking him about the face and the head, and it was just totally uncalled for. It reminded me of the Rodney King situation when I was on the department. That was a very prevalent case then, and what I see as a whole is a systemic problem that was not only exhibited in Memphis, but it's exhibited nationwide as it relates to certain law enforcement contacts. There's a mentality: if you run, you're going to pay, and that payment is normally in a beating. What you saw today from the videos that happened a few days ago, a week or so ago.
Now, in this video, what really stood out to you in regards to the officers' behavior, their unceasing beating of this man?
Here you have 5, 6 men that were these were robust men. They appeared to be over 200 pounds apiece, and they could have controlled this individual if they used the proper techniques to do so. Number one. Number two is that they let their adrenaline and their anger for him running get the better part of them. And what happened from a result of that is what you saw, where they were Tyre was kicked in the face, kicked about the head, beaten with a metal baton and collapsible baton, and just punched straight. You saw an individual, an officer, just make a haymaker punch to the face, and that was all that was totally uncalled for, and it was wrong and should not have been done.
Now, these 5 officers were all fired, all arrested and charged in a very short period of time. Do you think this is going to perhaps set a precedent for police brutality cases across the country?
Well, the thing is that what you have is a CEO, a chief of police, that did the right thing. She saw a problem, she dealt with the problem forthrightly, and they were fired. Number one. Number two, having been in this business going on this is my 49th year, I want to know what was written in those reports before the tapes were surfaced and before all that information got to the chief's level. Did the report state what we saw, or did they state something differently? And the third thing, there was where there was a second contact with them, there was an individual who had control over what appeared to be a poll camera, and they were going in and out and doing things that they shouldn't have been doing, what appeared to be trying to hide the activities of some of these officers. So the thing is that you have a systemic problem that has to be dealt with. And deal with the systemic problem, you have to not only deal with training, but it goes further back to that. You got to get the right people on the department. And I use the term, you got to put square pegs in square holes and round pegs in round holes. And if these individuals didn't have the core values that, in my opinion, that are needed to be officers of the law, and to protect the citizens that they were sworn to protect.
Now, some people are saying if these particular officers weren't African American, they wouldn't have been fired and charged so quickly. Do you think when it comes to a case like this, is it a race issue or is it just a policeman issue?
Well, what I saw here, I was the president of the Oscar Joe Bryant Association when I was with the department. That's the Black Law Enforcement Association. And I was also on the board of the National Black Police Association for several years. One of the things that we tried to do was to get qualified blacks into law enforcement, not only within LAPD, but nationwide. And we tried to get individuals that have the core values to be there, that have compassion for the citizens in which they are serving. Here, what you saw was not any of that. You saw the individuals that have embraced a law enforcement mentality, that if you run, you're going to pay. It's been my experience. Now, this is very, very, very little you see, but you have some blacks who are just as brutal as some of the white officers you have seen. And there is just that mentality that has to be rooted out. There's that mentality that has no place in law enforcement. And it's a leadership problem, it's a supervisory problem, and it's a mid-management problem. So the thing is that you got to put the right people in the right positions, as from chief down to patrol officer as they're coming out of the academy.
And sir, is there anything else that you think people need to know or need to understand about this case?
Well, what you saw is not what you trained to do in law enforcement. I don't care if it's in Memphis, I don't care if it's in Los Angeles, I don't care if it's in Texas. You're not trained to do that type of police work, number one. Number two, you got to get individuals that have the core values that are needed to deal with the situations that they're confronting. Number three, you got to have management. You got to have individuals in place to deal with the individuals law enforcement officers, to the point where they will do the right thing, do constitutional policing. And the thing is that we talk about these issues. And it's been going on ever since I've been on the department and been in law enforcement and dealing with law enforcement for the past 49 years. Time has changed, but the situations have not changed. And until you start doing something at the ballot box, at the local level, up through the national level, you will still see the same issues going on from year to year, decade to decade.
Use of force expert Tim Williams, thank you so much for being with us. We appreciate your insight.
Thank you for having me.